this is the Tiny Movie. This time I explain a horror, drama, and mystery movie of 2021, old. Spoiler ahead. Priska and his husband Guy travel to a tropical island with their children Maddox and Trent for a few days vacations. Following the arrival at the hotel, the resort manager warmly welcomes them, the resort staff, Madrid greets them with a special cocktail, and Maddox and Trent are guided to the drinking fountain to drinking anything they want. There, Trent and Maddox meet Idlib, the resort manager's nephew, and Idlib helps them try the best mixed drinks and the children befriend. Priska couldn't believe with just a click on an internet advertisement she would find such a great place to travel, and then they are guided to their room. After putting their belongings in the room, they go catch some rays, where Trent and Idlib meet Greg Mitchell, a cop, who is currently on vacation on the beach. Night at the hotel room, the sound of the Guy and Priska's argument scare the kids. Guy and Priska are going through a divorce. To avoid saddening their young kids, the couple takes them here as a final family vacation. Maddox asks Trent to play the message decoding game with Idlib and decode the letter. The following morning, after breakfast, the resort manager comes to the table and tells them he has a special offer for them. He explains that, because he liked them immediately, he wants to invite the family to a secluded private beach away from the hustle and bustle of other tourists. The manager adds, "I recommend it to certain guests." Priska and Guy accept the offer gladly. The manager makes the suggestion to other guests as well. Surgeon Charles, his mother Agnes, his wife Crystal, and his young girl Cara. A van takes Charles and Guy's family to a nature preserve off limits and opens the fence. He drives to the beginning of the forest path, and then stops. The driver gives them a lot of food just for a day, which made them confused. The driver believes the children need a lot of food there, and gives them the island address. Before they enter the beach, a mysterious young man is resting on the beach with his girlfriend, who seductively takes off her clothes and goes for a swim in the inshore waters. The others enter the beach after crossing the rock path. They each settled in a part of the beach. Maddox knows the young man, tells everyone he's the mid-size Sedan, the famous rapper. The children go to play, and then take a swim in the water. While Trent is swimming, something contacts his body. He turns around and visits a woman's body. Frightened, he runs to the beach screaming, and everyone notices the corpse. The body is taken out of the water. Mid-size Sedan comes closer to see what happened. He's shocked while his nose bleeding. Charles blames him for striking the girl, but the rapper responds that he was just sitting there all the time and ain't saying anything else. Bleeding from the rapper's nose made Charles more suspicious that he had killed the girl. It's midday. Charles's mother feels short of breath. Brent complains about the tightness of his pants. Priska tells him to loosen the knot of his pants, but when she exactly looks at Trent, wonders about something. Guy and mid-size Sedan are talking about the cause of the girl's death, as an actuary in an insurance company. Guy tells mid-size that 94% of all deaths in nature are due to sun exposure or alcohol per their insurance rates of people risk profile, and mid-size asks him to believe that the girl's death wasn't his fault. Guy tells him we have to wait and find someone to figure out the death reason. Charles shows up and says that the fun ride is over and they should watch out for this man and girl's body. New guests arrive. They were Jaren and Patricia, who had suffered from epilepsy seizures in the morning. Guy, seeing they come, wants to return quickly to reach the driver to inform him of the woman's death, but Jaren tells him that he has left quickly. Jaren and Patricia find out about the incident, and Charles blames the rapper again for the girl who died because of his nosebleed. Charles's mother is now in deep trouble. Jaren returns to the path between the rocks to find the phone signal to call for help, but when he enters between the rocks, unexpectedly blacks out, and he wakes up on the beach confused and with a headache. Charles is checking on his mother. Agnes recommends he help others to solve the corpse problem, but Priska appears and asks Charles to examine the children. Charles tells her that her son is totally healthy and is playing, so he has no time for him. Priska insists something is happening on Trent's body, and he is reacting to something. Charles and Priska go to visit Trent. Suddenly Crystal shouts to Charles that his mother is no longer breathing. Charles come back to her, but Agnes was dead. Charles blames his mother's death on mid-size Sedan that caused a psychological shock to his mother by killing that girl. Jaren and Patricia are talking and getting to know children in another corner. Patricia is a psychologist and Jaren is a nurse. Patricia asks Trent how old he is. Jaren says let him guess. He predicts that Trent is 11. Trent says no, I'm 6. Jaren unbelievably says no, not possible. Really, are you 10 or 11? Maddox says he is not lying. Trent is 6.5, and I am 11. Patricia is scared and believes that something is wrong here. Jaren tells her they're joking them and wants to leave the island. At the moment, Priska reaches him and asks Jaren and Patricia, "Have you seen my children?" Jaren angrily tells, "You want to play a joke to us? Aren't these your children?" Trent is standing in front of his mother and says, "Mom, we're here." Priska can't believe what she sees, while looking at Maddox and Trent doubtingly. Maddox says, "Why are you looking at us like this, Mom?" Trent runs and hugs her anxiously. Guy arrives and he is doubtful, can't believe that they are their children. Seeing this, Midsize starts to run away. Charles chases after him to catch him. They both enter the stone passage, faint, and wake up on the beach. Everyone else faces the same fate. When everyone woke up, everybody is looking at each other desperately and confused. Suddenly Charles hit the mid-size sedan's face with his knife. Charles looks confused and strange, and he's not aware of what he's doing. Jaren wants to see the cut on the rapper's face, but no trace of the cut can be seen. Midsize doesn't feel any pain, but he says helplessly that he wants to return to his room. He adds that this entire trip was supposed to be his end trip because he started talking to that girl as he had been diagnosed with hemophilia, as the girl had been diagnosed with MS, and he hasn't done anything with that girl. Some minutes later, Charles examines his girls and finds out that his daughter's age had doubled during this time. Minutes later, Charles's dog also dies. Patricia gathers everyone and tells them that there is a common problem in everyone, that they are all gathered here, and she wants everyone to tell their problem. Crystal is severely calcium deficient. Her husband suffers from severe anxiety. Priska wants to tell their problems, but feels that she needs to catch her breath. She says it's a virus that causes the body to react like this, and adds that she just started feeling weird a minute ago. Guy continues and says that she was found with a small tumor in his stomach that is to be treated. Suddenly, Priska's tumors, which were 3 centimeters, got bigger and bigger. She faints. Charles says we don't have much time to get the tumor out. Guy agrees to have the tumor removed. Charles makes sure where the area the tumor is located and cuts open her stomach, but the incision heals and closes quickly. Everyone is speechless. Jerry tells Charles to cut it again. This time they'll keep their hands to keep the incision open. This time cut is successful, and the tumor with the size of a rugby ball was removed. Moments later, Priska regains consciousness and looks well. Midsize goes next to the girl's corpse and removes the sheets. He jumps back out of fear. The girl who died 3 hours ago has completely turned into bones. Midsize calls everyone to see this. Priska, who is completely healthy now, carefully examines the body. Due to her work in the museum and her familiarity with historical excavations, she believes it takes at least 7 years for the corpse to decompose in such a way that no trace of flesh remains. Everyone realizes that the main problem of the island is time, not the virus. Every half hour is equivalent to a year. They discover if they stay on the island by the end of the day, 50 years of their lives will be wasted. Inside the tent, Trent and Kara are resting together. They are teenagers now. Kara tells Trent she has a different feeling toward him. They have sex minutes later. Priska and the others are looking for them. They come out of the tent and go to the rest. Suddenly everyone froze in shock. Kara is pregnant, and the fetus grows bigger by the second. Everyone is extremely in shock. Brent doesn't even understand what he did. Seeing the size of Kara's belly, Jaren advises her to be ready to give birth quickly. She doesn't know what she did too. The baby is born but dies a minute later, cause can't tolerate the rapid growth pressure. Kara and Trent mourn. Seeing this, Charles, who seems to suffer from schizophrenia, totally loses it and stabs mid-size Sedan in the heart several times and kills him. Everyone is in terror. Guy slowly approaches him and takes the knife from him. He doesn't even remember why he killed mid-size Sedan. Jaren wants to find a way out by any means and decides to swim to find another beach on the west side, while someone is watching them from the rocks of the island. Priska tells Maddox about the crisis which existed between her and Guy, but Maddox suspicious her mother was in an affair. Priska confirms, and Maddox bursts into tears and wants to be alone. She goes for a walk and goes inside the water. Minutes later, she suddenly encounters the drowned corpse of Jaren. Patricia cries when she sees this scene, feeling despair. On another side, Kara and Trent are burying their baby. The baby's body is completely decomposed into ashes. Kara suddenly decides to climb the rocks. Everyone shouts to stop her, but ineffective. She wants to find a way to get out. She goes to the top of the rock successfully. Everyone hopes that she will succeed, but suddenly she faints at the top and falls down and passes. Trent mourns again. Patricia wants to swim with a plastic tube so that she can breathe and fulfill Jerry's plan, but she suddenly has a severe seizure that leads to her death. The sun is going down. Guy is losing his sight and Priska is losing his hearing. Crystal is looking for Kara. She, who is suffering from calcium deficiency, has become much thinner and humped. She's afraid to be seen. With a very weak vision, Guy informs Priska about her affair and tells her that he has seen the messages of that stranger on her phone. Priska apologizes and says that she will stay with her forever. Brent and Maddox look between the sands among the pieces of stuff of the previous travelers covered by sands. They find a notebook in which a person has found the reason for the deadly side effect of being here. It is written inside the booklet that magnetism inside this exact spot of Earth is so powerful that the rocks inside the island kingdom made a magnetized trap, which no one can escape from. The night has come. Charles picks up his knife from Priska's bag and goes to Guy. Charles's schizophrenia gets worse. He tells Guy that "you're gonna tell them what I did," and he hits Guy with the knife several times. Guy can't see many things, so he shields his arms, which knife cuts them, but they heals quickly. Priska puts herself in the shield and injures several times, and then she runs to Maddox and Brent and asks them to hide somewhere. They run into the rocks in the dark of night. There they hear someone moaning. They light a match. Crystal is there. She shouts that she doesn't want to be seen and throws stones at the light. She moves towards the light and asks, "Was Kara killed?" Trent tells him she was killed in an accident. Upon hearing this, she picks up a large stone to throw at Trent, but the stone falls on her hand and broke it, but strangely, it heals in the wrong way. Meanwhile, Priska finds a rusty knife and attacks Charles with it, which makes Charles's body infected to death. Brent and Maddox run away from the horrible appearance of the crystal to a corner. Crystal's hypocalcemia made her bones have become so brittle that they break with each impact on the stone wall. Finally, it becomes deformed until she dies with a pretty creepy appearance. At the end of the night, Guy dies of old age in Priska's arms, and a few minutes later Priska dies too. The morning of the second day. Brent and Maddox had reached the age of their parents. Maddox tells Brent, "We only have 13 hours. Brent fondles his sister. Brent asks Maddox if they still should try to find a way out of here again. Maddox nods. Brent says, "Then let's build sandcastles first." Maddox agrees. They can't believe yesterday they were still a kid. While building the castle, Brent remembers that he has not yet read one of Idlib's letters. Brent is surprised after decoding. Idlib has sent a message to them. "My uncle does not like coral." Seeing this message, they decide to swim to the east toward corals instead of swimming in the west. Maybe they can be safe from the impact of magnetism among the corals. They have no other choice. They take the plunge and start swimming. There exists a tunnel between the corals. They enter it, but Maddox's dress gets stuck to the corals and they linger underwater. The driver who brought them to the island has surveillanced them anxiously. After making sure they had drowned after more than 1.5 minutes being underwater, he calls and reports the deaths of the last travelers, informing them fortunately they couldn't get through the coral. He returns to the resort and enters Guy and Priska's room, and then from here goes to a laboratory named Warren. Delivers computers and supplies of killed travelers to be wiped out of any information. The person in control of the laboratory is the resort manager. He asks everyone a moment of silence for members of Trial 73. A scientist named Sydney speaks after him. He announces that they have been able to overcome Patricia's epilepsy for 8 hours and 17 minutes on the island, which is equal to 16.5 years in the real world. It means they cured the disease, which is a success in the medical world. Everybody applauds. The resort manager believes the existence of the island is a gift from nature to them, which makes them see the results of the drugs on humans one day later, which they just suffer a day, instead of waiting for a lifetime for the results. Now, they become more interested in performing the next drug on the next travelers. Inside the resort, everything feels normal. The policeman who was resting receives a booklet from someone. The new passengers arrive and the manager greets them as ever. He opens the door for them and greets them. Madrid brings them a special cocktail, but suddenly someone hits her hard. Brent and Maddox are saved. Brent says he won't let them give anyone any other drink. Brent loudly reveals the dark story behind these services. The police check the list of all the missing people's names written in the booklet with the police station. Their disappearing is confirmed. Brent explains the whole story to everyone. Brent and Maddox were able to get to the surface and breathe, which lead them to be saved. They're being transported by a helicopter out of the island, where their uncle is waiting for them. The police arrest everyone in the resort and laboratory, and the movie ends. Subscribe for watching videos like this, turn on notifications, and thank you for watching.